You hit play, and here we are at the Journey Jukebox, a Big Blend radio travel podcast featuring Lisa Evans, a travel writer, photographer, travel advisor, and the author of 100 Things to Do in Coastal Mississippi Before You Die. All right, so today on Journey Jukebox, we're talking about the Mississippi Blues. Oh boy, I can't wait for this. This is dangerous territory for Lisa and I because we are both big blues fans. And this could end up being a 10-hour podcast. Lisa, how are you? Welcome back.
Good. Thank you. So, how are you doing? I'm doing well.
Good. Yeah, we're doing good, but when no matter what's going on in the world, a little blues can help us,
Absolutely. Music can fix a lot of stuff.
Yeah, blues does. It fixes everything. There's something for every emotion. But going from upstate New York, you're in Mississippi, you're on the coastal Mississippi. So you've got some blues going on there, but the state of Mississippi is known for the Crossroads, which you've been to, right? You've been to the Crossroads.
Yes, I have been to the Crossroads. Obviously it's considerably different than when Robert Johnson was there, but it's really, there's a marker and photo op, but it literally is at a busy intersection nowadays. And of course the story is that's where he sold his soul to the devil so he could, be a blues musician. But it really is a cool place, and the whole area of Clarksdale is just fabulous. It's in the Mississippi Delta. So one of the things, and of course where I am is on the coast. So the Delta is up, it's up quite a ways, several hours north, along the river. And so I had my Sirius XM going and getting into the blues station on my way up there. And it's just, you can almost feel it. There's so much blues history there. I mean, the B.B. King Museum is there. You've got blues clubs all over, and I went to a couple that were really cool. Ground Zero, the original Ground Zero Blues Club, is up there. It's just a really neat place to go. And the Crossroads is, again, it's much different than when it was back in the day, but it's just really really invigorating to be there and to see and to think back on the history that, yeah, it's a big sign now that says Crossroads or whatever. But if you understand the blues and understand the story behind it, it will give you chills. It's kind of cool.
I haven't done that yet, but the Mississippi Blues Trail, like I know you thought, oh, I'm just going to go out and do the trail, but, there's a lot of markers on that, right? I mean, tons.
There is, and they keep adding them. I mean, I want to say I've seen in the news that they've added 2 or 3 more throughout the state. But the Mississippi Blues Trail, you're right. I mean, several years ago, somebody approached me and said, hey, we're doing this thing about the blues, the Blues Trail, whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. I can do this. And I thought it would be like something that I could do in a few weeks. Wrong. There's just so many markers, and it literally takes you through the state of Mississippi and into neighboring states. Even, Memphis is part of it, just different areas where, people that really influenced the genre of blues, lived, and you can hear their stories. And, Memphis is a great city. Of course, you can go to Graceland and Elvis's influence.
Stax Records.
Right, yeah. Correct. And then you come over in Tupelo where Elvis was born, which I've been to, and that's a really neat place too. Tupelo holds, the birthplace. And then you just go along the trail, and if you learn the stories of the various, there's so many blues musicians that, while somebody, like B.B. King, of course, is very famous, there's a lot of other ones that unless you are deep into the genre, you might not even have any idea who they are. But the Blues Trail has significant markers, and they have an app which is really, really very helpful. I have it on my phone, and it lists all the blues markers, and every place you go. Now, it could be a building, it could be just a place in a field. Down here in coastal Mississippi, we have a radio station that was very influential in the blues movement. We have 100 Men Hall, which is phenomenal. That is, that's a great place to go. 100 Men Hall. That was part of the Chitlin Circuit. And so there's blues markers here on the coast, and then you follow up through the state of Mississippi, and they're all over the place. And the app tells you where they are, gives you directions, tells you what it's about, why it's significant to the blues movement, and it's really very interesting. And you can, if you're into it and you want to do the blues trail, you download the app and you say, okay. And even, I mean, what I have done is, because I have come nowhere near the visiting all of them, but whenever I'm in an area, I pull it up and go, hey, what's in this area? What can I go see? And a lot of them, quite honestly, are just a marker in a field that tells a story. But it's a story that's significant to the Mississippi blues. It's really quite interesting, and you could get sucked into it very easily and just go for weeks and visit these markers.
So, Lisa, I want to do the trail with you. I know Nancy and I are going to maybe come across through your region later
Hmm.
this year, and you never know. Even if we do one stop,
Right.
together, it would be super awesome because I think it's something that, especially as people are looking at road tripping this year, this is something to add to your itinerary. Like Nancy and I
Yes.
always have like, let's go. Like we just saw Nina Simone. We went to Nina Simone's hometown. Um, and it's been
Nice.
on my bucket list to do. And we were going from North Carolina to Florida, and it's in Tryon, North Carolina. Yeah. And they've got a beautiful mural for her. They did a statue in the downtown, and it's part of a Blue Ridge music trail, which I didn't even know they had. So then I'm like, oh, now I'm going to have to follow this too. Nancy and I get addicted to these kinds of things and get ourselves in trouble because it's a whole bunch of rabbit holing. But it was
Oh,
really cool.
absolutely.
But it's Nina, and they are, the time we were there was getting late in the day, and they're taking her childhood home and they're refurbishing it. They've got some grant through an African American kind of music and the arts program, and just restoring her home, and they're going to use it as an artist residency. How cool is that? And it's a
That
beautiful
is.
area. The town is so charming, but they got some money from me. I filled up with gas while I was there. So you know what I mean? These kinds of things actually add to the economy. So I just want to
Hmm.
say, in the tourism world, these kinds of markers, but we always try to do something on, if we're going from A to B, of course we do parks, that's why we
Hmm.
travel full time, but we try to do something like that everywhere we go. And it's like you find all these stories, just like you're saying, you find these stories of people. And when it's the music part, it's so, it just feels so good to learn about these musicians. And Mississippi, man, it's like a hotbed of blues. Then,
Yes.
you've got a great article, and everyone, it's linked in the episode notes. It's on rovology.com. And you were talking a bit about the Blues Trail and then where places people can go. But some of the history, there's some circuits that, there's like the Louisiana hay rides, which way back when I really didn't know they weren't really hay rides. I thought people,
Hmm.
sorry. You know who had to teach me that, what the hay rides were?
Uh-uh.
Jerry
Oh,
Lee Lewis's sister was on our show, Linda, and she's like,
that's
no,
awesome.
no, honey, This
No, that's not what happened.
no. But I also saw them. There's a blues, like a country music museum. They were in there, and up near Natchitoches, Louisiana, we were up there. And they were talking about the Louisiana hayrides. I'm like, what is this? Everybody getting like a hayride, and what is going on? But you're talking about in your article that there was a chitlin circuit that
Yes.
people were doing. Can you tell people about that?
Yeah, so we have a place here in Coastal Mississippi. It's called 100 Men Hall. And if you are ever coming through our area, that is definitely one place I would suggest you stop if you're into the blues and history and that type of thing. 100 Men Hall it started as a gathering spot because black musicians, with segregation laws back in the day, black musicians were not able to perform in your, I don't know, mainstream, if you want to call it that. So they had to have their own places to perform. Well, Hundred Man Hall was one of those places, and it became a stop, and so it became a stop on the circuit, as you call it, which it's now known, it's called as the Chitlin Circuit, and it's a lot of black musicians that were traveling throughout the area and would stop at certain areas so that they could perform in their communities and with people that appreciated that type, it became a gathering place essentially. And, it did weddings, it did funerals, it did concerts of these people that are on the Chitlin Circuit. And there's a photo in my article on Rovology of the mural that is on the front of the house. And it is just, it's really just, it's very moving to go to Hundred Men Hall. And you got to remember, there are some people like Fats Domino, B.B. King, Etta
Mm.
James, Ray Charles, Chuck
Oh.
Berry. They all performed there. So when you walk in that place, it's as unassuming as you get. It's very basic, has a stage, and the the curtains on the back of the stage are that blue. All I can think of is, the Gone with the Wind, the
Hmm.
portieres, the green. It has that type of curtain on the stage, and it's blue,
Mm.
and that is the original stage. The stage that is in there when you visit is the original stage that all of these performers were on, and it
Oh,
gave me goosebumps.
yeah.
And when you go in there and it's just like the walls just talk to you. They like vibrate with all these musical greats. And then they have their wall of fame, and they have photos of the different people that have performed through the various years at Hundred Men Hall. But it's very historical. It's the original building, and they have kept as much originality to it as can. Now, I'm going back 2 or 3 years. I want to say it was Hurricane Zeta a few years ago here on the coast. It damaged the roof, like it ripped the roof right off. And this is a nonprofit that runs this Hundred Men Hall. So it was really, how do you get this fixed? Well, the community came together and they had fundraisers, and the roof got fixed on Hundred Men Hall to save that bit of history. It's
Mm.
just this little house, but it's got the historical markers, and it gives you goosebumps when you walk in there and you look around and you stop and think about, this was their gathering place, because us ignorant white people don't, back
Hmm.
then, didn't want to, let them perform and show their talent. So they had to do it another way, and they managed to do it. And Hundred Men Hall is a clear reminder of that fact. And I was on their website a few days ago, and I know you'll love this. They're having a brunch with Bobby Rush.
Oh my gosh, I saw that. Dude,
Yes,
sorry, I know you're not a dude, but like, dude, seriously.
I
Um,
know. Bobby
I'm getting
Rush.
yelled at. I really need to stop saying dude. I can't stop it, but it's like a train. But listen, yeah, Bobby Rush. I mean,
Uh-huh. And
that's massive.
the tickets are like $30 to
Yeah,
have brought,
that's nothing.
and to hear him
Are
just, I
you
mean, the
going?
man's what? He's in his 80s. He has to be in his 80s, and he's
Yeah, man.
fabulous. But to think that he's going to be there just chilling for a Sunday brunch, I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh,
And they do things like that, and those are fundraisers for the Hundred Men Hall, so they can do things. They do a lot of activities. They bring in a lot. They still. And the funny part, you mentioned an artist's residence in there. So Hundred Men Hall is one building, and then behind it is like a smaller like apartment area. They bring in artists for residency. When I was there, they had a young lady she was a painter. So basically, they give out, I don't know if you call them scholarships or whatever, fellowships maybe you call them, and so these artists would apply to come here and stay in this residence for however long they're offering and basically paint and or write and or whatever their art form is. And they get to live in this little cool little house right next to 100 Men Hall on the coast here and just, let their creative spirit take over. And I met the artist that was there that particular time and real sweet, very, very thankful for the opportunity. It's just a really cool thing to know that what started out and how much good that they're still doing in the community and trying to help the blues movement and push forward. And again, in my opinion, bringing Bobby Rush, that's pretty awesome.
That is. Yeah, that's like an artist residency. Yeah, that is
Hmm.
so cool. So this is on the coastal Mississippi side where you are. So
Yes.
your region is still hotbed of blues. I think that sounds like a good album title, Hotbed of Blues.
Yeah.
I was,
There you go.
you were on the show with Johnny Mastro from the Mama's Boys, who's based in
Hmm.
New Orleans. And that's the other thing. Mississippi, you're going to New Orleans, you're doing all that music and keep your swampy going. Keep going, there's bayous and all kinds of stuff all through that area. But, he was just in Clarksdale. They have this harp festival, every
Hmm.
year, and he was in there. And he just saw Charlie. He just posted on Instagram today. I'm like, dude, sorry, it's back again.
Hmm.
He did. Charlie Musselwhite was there. Come
Mm.
on. I'm just a little
Wow.
jealous, just a little,
Yeah.
you,
Yeah. A
you
little
know.
bit.
But there's a there's Ry Cooder did Crossroads, that movie. Did the
Yes.
music for it. Have you seen the movie? And it's got Ralph, what's his name? What's the little Karate Kid guy? Rob
Oh,
Macchio?
macchiato or something. How are you saying it?
Yeah,
Ralph Macchiato, something like that.
yeah. And it was real. It's a fantastic movie. And so if you haven't seen it, y'all, it's like it was out in the 80s or 90s or something. But the album is really good. And there's if you look up Down in Mississippi, Ry Cooder, and Google it on YouTube. May I add this to the playlist, by the way? May I add a,
Absolutely.
you
Well, and
have to
then you
have
know
Down
what?
in
Well, you
Mississippi from this because but I don't think it's on Spotify, so this can be, I'll get the original one that they did in the recording, but, um,
well
there's
you
one when he
you
went to the
mentioned
Old Gray Whistle. Go ahead.
you mentioned down in Mississippi. If I'm not mistaken, you turned me on to the Larkin Poe, the ladies.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
believe that they have a song that's called Down to Mississippi or Going Down to Mississippi.
They did something in
And
Mississippi. Hey, yeah. And as we record, the sister, the slide guitars, it's her birthday today.
all right.
The day we're recording this, and so
Yes.
Nancy and her celebrate a birthday. So this is very important. Bobby
Yes.
Rush was on Down in Mississippi as well. He also did this.
Hmm.
Um, it's a
But
very popular song.
if you want to add Larkin Poe to the playlist with that Down in Mississippi,
Okay, we got the
their
Larkin.
tune too.
Here we go. This is the danger thing about Mississippi. Okay, we got to have Larkin Poe on there, and then we've got Ry Cooder and Terry Evans. Terry Evans, you've got to, I'm going to send this to you after this. Everyone, just Google Ry Cooder Down in Mississippi. It's Ry Cooder and Terry Evans, and you've got to see it. It's when they were at the Old Gray Whistle test, and
Oh wow.
I watched this. I mean, and unfortunately, Terry Evans passed away, and he's performed in LA with a bunch of musicians I know, and he was putting out an album, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go get an interview with him, and he passed
Hmm.
away. Here's a
Oh,
thing. Don't procrastinate ever.
yeah.
And when you see him perform this, you'll understand why I wanted to meet him. This vocal power is just insane. And when he sings it, when he's like, I mean, come on, the blue. See, this is why I said it could be a 10-hour podcast on the blues.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
it so much.
you can go down
It's,
so many rabbit holes.
but it's just it's about emotion, and you also get the blues and gospel go hand in hand. And when
Mhm.
you go out and you actually go to these regions and travel them, you know, there's something about it, man. And here's the thing. Can I just say, when you go to Mississippi and you go to Louisiana, right? These are two states that you will find good music on the radio. Sure, you'll have your
Mhm.
typical stations, but especially if you get near a college town, you can tune in, find the college town. My gosh, Mississippi, I mean, you can hear there's like real radio stations, like,
Yeah,
what we grew up with, that didn't just play, here's your top 10 list,
right.
over and
Well, we
over.
have one of the markers for the Blues Trail is a as a radio station down here on the coast that was started many years ago, and it played. So the music that was performed at 100 Man Hall was being played on this radio station, and like it was like the only radio station on in Mississippi at the time, and they that's what they played. They played the blues music, and it got so deeply entrenched that there is a blues marker at this radio station. Rip Daniels is one of the founding fathers, I guess you will, and he's very well known on the coast. He's probably, oh, he's got to be up there, I would think. And then his son is a DJ, and it's a radio station that is built around the blues and the blues influence, and they have a huge influence on the local community, the local, African American community and blues and everything. So, I mean, it's very influential still to this day down here. So it's pretty cool.
That is cool. Ah, I feel like I need to come road tripping to you. I need to do this. It's getting me all, excited. I love this about the music. Do you listen to the blues when you drive around? Because you
I
living there,
do.
do you?
I have my Sirius station, and I'll be honest. I flip between the '70s on 7, the '80s on 8, and the blues, the BBK. Actually, I think it's called Bluesville. And that's I'll get in my moods, and that's all I'll listen to. And the
Mm.
Bluesville station on Sirius is really good. You can hear all kinds of different musicians playing the blues, and which brings me to, which I'm sure you're going to bring up, is one of the DJs, yeah, I guess they're DJs called still, is Shemekia Copeland, and she is a
Oh,
DJ. She is a DJ on the Bluesville
I
station,
didn't know she did
and
that.
yeah,
Cool.
yep, she has her own show, as does I don't know if you've heard of Joe Bonamassa. He
Oh
has
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You want the new here go off on a tangent. Now this is a funny story of Joe Bonamassa. So, as you know, I'm from Central New York. I remember seeing Joe Bonamassa as a 14-year-old prodigy in playing. He's from New Hartford, New York, which is basically where I lived for many, many years. He was playing at 14 in my where I was working. I worked for a food company, but they had purchased a restaurant that featured live music, and Joe Bonamassa performed as a 14-year-old child prodigy, if you will, at this restaurant. And that was the first time I see him. And you knew back, and I'm going back a lot of years, and you knew back then that this guy was going somewhere. And now he's like one of the best blues guitarists out there. He's another DJ on Sirius Bluesville. Very famous. He's just phenomenal guitarist, absolutely phenomenal. But I remember seeing him at age 14 when he was a kid.
Wow. This is amazing. This is amazing.
Yeah,
That's so
yeah.
cool to
But
see when they
Joe,
grow,
yeah, yeah,
you know?
and it is. So the talent just doesn't go. And actually, so yeah, so Shemekia Copeland is a DJ on Bluesville, and as you know, I went to see her recently at
In the
Ground Zero
captain,
Blues.
everybody. This has been going on the
Yes,
last few shows. I think
yes.
we've been talking about this event of Lisa going to see Shamika Copeland, and I got to see her in Greeley, Colorado, way right before COVID hit. So and Larkin Poe at the same time. So this conversation, I think we've been talking
Hmm.
about this for 6 months, Lisa.
Months.
It's
Because yeah,
months.
I bought the tickets like it was last year. It was 2024.
Yeah, we've
The
been
minute I
talking. Yeah. Hmm.
the minute I saw that she was coming to Ground Zero in Biloxi, I went on and I bought tickets. And I had a table, and I kid you not, I was dead center in front of the stage. I was right by it was phenomenal. I mean, like you couldn't have asked for a better view of the stage. I was literally front center. It was great.
My gosh.
It was
So
wonderful. And the
you,
guy
oh,
that where I was going with this is the child. He's a child. He's not a child. The guy that opened up for her is called Young Rel. Wait. Where did Young Rel? And he is 18 years old, and he's from Vicksburg, and he has been playing the guitar and the harmonica since he was 7. Well, he opened up for her, and let me tell you what, he's pretty darn good. He's going to be another one of those, and he is 18, but as he grows and develops and gets more and more music, I mean, he's really good. And when he plays the harp and he's the guitar and he sings, he's very talented. I think he'll go far. So in 10 years, he'll be on the blues, the blues name, um,
mm,
the blues,
yeah.
whatever I want to say, circuit, I guess is the phrase I would call. His real name is, I believe it's called Harold, but they call him Young Rel Davenport. Um, really a good musician. But like I said, he's 18. He's just a baby. So imagine where he'll be in 10, 12, 15 years.
I love it. Now, Shamika, how was that show? And
Oh, dear
everyone,
God.
Lisa did wear her caftan. I have
I did.
evidence, but I'll
I
behave
did.
with the
Yeah, but we're
evidence.
not
But she did.
publishing it. But yes, I did.
Oh, come
It
on.
was fabulous. And of course, Ground Zero, the atmosphere. Ground Zero Blues Club, again, another place I would highly recommend if you're going through coastal Mississippi. It is probably one of the most comfortable, it's obviously bar, restaurant, music club. It's probably one of the most comfortable places you'll ever find. Like, you could go there at lunch, you could grab a bite to eat, and sit at the bar, sit at a table. They play constant blues music. That's what they play. And they have a big video screen that comes down. So you get exposed to people that you might not have heard, or maybe you heard them on the radio, but you haven't seen their video or anything. So it's really a very comfortable place. And they put on tremendous shows. And Shamika was obviously one of them. She was fabulous. It was really cool. So the owner of the club, now the club is partially owned by Morgan Freeman. Everybody knows Ground Zero.
We
Same with
like
the one in.
him.
Yes, I like Morgan Freeman.
He
So
has
he was,
common sense. Sorry. He's a common
no,
senser.
yeah, and he's a Mississippi native, so he, did the one in Clarksdale, and then when they opened the one,
Oh,
he's like half owner, or a quarter, third owner, whatever. He's part owner of the one here in Biloxi, and he pops in every now and then. If you're lucky, he'll pop in. A few weeks back, he actually, I think it was the week before Shamika, he was at the club because there was a 14-year-old kid that, I mean, that was, he really was promoting, because the kid, he played in Clarksdale and he played down here, and, just trying to promote this young man. And so he had actually been at Ground Zero the week before I was there. But Shamika, so the night Shamika came out, one of the owners of the club came up, and it was the funniest thing. So he gets a fire extinguisher, and he takes a fire extinguisher and he puts it on the edge of the stage, and he turns around and he goes, "Okay, guys, you're going to need this, because she's going to set this stage on fire." She was fabulous, high energy, just, and her band, her band is probably one of the tightest bands I've ever heard. Her guitarist, it's amazing how well they play together. And I think out of the one, two, three, there was 5 in her band. And I want to say out of the 5, 3 of them had been with her for 15 plus years. and the
Mm,
other two were newbies, like less than 10 perhaps. But tight band, and they sounded wonderful. Her voice, I don't even know how to, I mean, her voice is like um a young
mm.
Aretha Franklin. It's just so powerful and so soulful, and she's just got that stage presence. And it was just wonderful. I mean, and she did let's see, she came on, it was, oh, I don't know, a little bit before 9, probably maybe 8:45, 9, and she played until 10:30. Because you got to remember now, Ground Zero, one of the things, and I love this about Ground Zero, they're not the club that goes till 2, 3 a.m. because, let's face it, a lot of people that go there are old like me. So they do it so that they do it so that the shows are generally wrapping up by 10:30. So you can be, 10:30 they usually end, and you can be on the road and home and in bed before 11 generally. So it was very good, and I got to meet her. Very sweet lady, and she's a lot. I mean, I'm not tall. I'm a short woman, and she was shorter than me. So for somebody this small of stature to have such a powerful voice, it was phenomenal. It
Yeah,
was
that
just
is
wonderful.
true though. When you hear someone really like even Josh Stone, Josh Stone has that where she just like this power comes out of her and she's little,
Hmm.
It's like, wow, how did that happen? But it's
Yeah.
so, it's just, oh man, I could just
It.
listen to blues music all day long and it makes me happy. And I love the old school too. But I also see
Yeah.
like blues is getting used more and more in younger music today too. So I
Hmm.
think you start,
It
I think,
influences a lot.
Jack White has done a lot for blues music in today's world of blues because he's got such a younger audience as well, maybe younger than me too, and it's and I'm like half a century young. But I'm just so I'm not young, but
But
I
some
think
of those
he gets
songs,
those younger people on board, with
yeah.
what he does for the blues.
Well, and some of the songs that I put in the playlist, and I mean, I had heard several of her songs, but she performed like there's nothing better than a live version. And there's really the one about 2 a.m. was her closing song, and it was just fabulous. And then the one that really gave me chills because I believe that she said she won a Grammy, after she said one of her comments was she was the Susan Lucci of Grammys, because she's been nominated so many times. I still don't know that she won, but she was nominated for the song, Would You Take My Blood?
Mm,
And that song and if you
hmm
listen to it, it's like, it's chilling. It
hmm
gives me the chills.
It's real.
Um, yeah, it's very real to this day, which is sad to think in 2025 that song is so real. It really is depressing, honestly. But it was just, but to hear her perform it live was just, it gave me chills. It really did. I really enjoyed, like I said, I really enjoyed the 2 a.m. Um, Now, let me think. What was my other? Oh, the Blame It on Eve. I laughed. Wine O'Clock. I mean, all of her songs, but I
Wine
think
o'clock is good.
probably, yeah, Wine O'Clock is good. But one of the best lines ever, which again, I think a lot of people can relate to it, but especially in this, it's the line, I was born a penny and I ain't gonna be no dime. It's
Yeah,
totally of like, I am who I am, deal with it kind of thing.
exactly.
Um,
But that's the blues is unapologetic. You know,
exactly.
it
But
is.
it was just, it was
Yeah,
wonderul.
it's real.
All of her songs she performed. She's a fabulous performer. I mean, and and her band is just it was a great show. I have to say it's probably in the top 10 of, I mean, and I've seen a bunch of concerts, but this was, and of course, that's the thing about Ground Zero. It's a small club. and it's a small group and it's a small crowd, but it's so comfortable, and the music is just phenomenal. And like I said, her voice, oh my God, her voice is just it's chilling that how powerful. And then, like I said, when I got to meet her, and I'm not a tall person. I'm like, I can't believe she's shorter than me, and she had heels on. So it was it was but yeah, what a powerhouse of a voice. Amazing.
I have another song
Anybody that
for
gets
your
the
list.
chance.
I've got another
Oh,
song for
okay.
your list. Can't help it, but we got to put Buddy Guy in there. Buddy Guy gets to be
Oh,
everywhere and
absolutely.
anything. I he is it's on his final tour that he keeps doing the final tour, you know. It's
Yeah.
thick like Mississippi mud is going to go in there. And then I was just
Hmm.
thinking, Nina Simone did, just going back to her, she did go through Mississippi and she, what was, we've got to, the blues tells the story of what is
Right.
because you can't keep everything in and you do when, during circumstances, right? And, when you looked at what happened in history and,
Hmm.
especially, for Black musicians, Black people, slavery, all of
Right.
it, right? Sharecropping, all of it. And women's rights and she was very famous for Mississippi goddamn, so we got
Yeah.
to put that in there.
There you
you,
go. Works
yeah,
for
you got to
me.
hear that. I mean, yeah, it's I'm just so glad that the blues trail is there in Mississippi, that people can take it when people go
Oh,
on their
yeah.
coastal vacation this summer. Put in some of that music, and I'm glad there's places like Ground Zero and 100 Men Hall that people can go and experience and learn.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
in Gulfport where you are and Biloxi, that area, do you have blues musicians just like do local entertainment, that you can see like at restaurants and things
Nah,
like that?
not really, unless it's a place like Ground Zero or Hundred Men Hall. You have to remember one of the things that makes coastal Mississippi the tourism is our casinos. So I mean, although I will say we were talking about Joe Bonamassa, and Joe Bonamassa does do what we jokingly refer to down here as the casino circuit, and
Hmm.
where they go from the big casinos and perform in their showrooms and whatnot. Joe Bonamassa does do the casino circuit. I'm not gonna lie. As far as other like blues musicians, it's few and far between. And which I'm okay with, because to be honest with you, I would rather listen to a blues musician in a smaller venue like Ground Zero or Hundred Man
Mm,
Hall,
me too.
because it's much more intimate. It's much more, you can feel it. I mean,
It's real. Yeah.
blues music is meant to be felt. It's
Yep.
meant to be absorbed and felt and understood, and so you can try to understand where these people are coming from that are singing these songs. And that's hard to do in a big casino showroom, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I
Agreed.
much prefer a small, intimate gathering. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't not go see Joe Bonamassa if I got the opportunity, because he's a fabulous guitarist. But he's more, and he does sing and whatever, but I mean, somebody like Shemekia, and I know she does big concerts, but I like the small venue for a blues musician. I just think you get much more feeling out of it. That's just my opinion.
Hmm. Yeah. You know, I like the venues like that are just in like what you're saying, intimate. You're
Hmm.
hearing the music, you're in it.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, I'm feeling very nostalgic right now. I feel like I need to go listen to music. Like there's
Well,
nothing like
it's
live music either, man.
right.
It's great to hear it on the radio and everything, but live is just so much better. Are there festivals ever? I mean, I feel like you guys
Um,
should have a blues
up
festival.
Up in Clarksdale, yes,
Yeah.
they do, and up in along the Delta they do. Down here on the coast, not so much. And maybe with Ground Zero down here and getting its footing, it's been open. I want to say 3 years now. So
Yeah.
maybe as they get more and more, they will do something. They're trying to, but they're also trying to think outside the box. Well, I would say 90% of the acts that they bring in are the blues genre, but they're also, I think the idea behind it is to get other people in. So they have a show that's coming up, and they were advertising it while we were there. It's called Jump. It's a tribute. It's a Van Halen tribute band, but apparently it's like very, very, very popular one. And so they're bringing that to Ground Zero to get like the Van Halen crew into Ground Zero to see what it's like. Same kind of thing they're doing. I want to say in a few weeks they're doing a Prince. And
Oh, cool.
supposedly he's one of the best Prince, I won't say impersonators, but whatever they call them, performers,
Yeah.
tribute artists. And supposedly he's very, very good. I'm almost tempted to go to that one because I was a big Prince fan. I always loved Prince. And talented musician. Oh my God, we can't. You want talent? You got Prince. But so they're trying to reach out. I think to other people that may or may not be into the blues, but might still come to a show like that. And then once you get them there and they
Yeah.
hear the blues going on and they see, and then, maybe get some, oh, hey, this is a cool joint. Let's keep going back kind of thing. So that, well, like I said, 90% of their music and their acts that they bring in are of the blues genre. They are trying to think outside the box a little bit and expand it, which again, like you said, live music, great, great venue. You can't really go wrong.
Well, I'm seeing on their site too that they have a First Sunday Southern Soul and Blues concert series
Yeah.
coming up.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
mean, and I kind of feel like blue. It's like you were saying about you have to listen to blues and get into it. I feel the same way, honestly. When I go to New Orleans, the first thing that comes to my mind with New Orleans is jazz. I
Mm.
love to go in a cool, quiet, dark, not quiet, dark, smoky jazz club. I remember going to one in New York City, which was just really cool. But New Orleans, I mean, that's when I think of New Orleans. I think of jazz, and that's I love the jazz clubs in New Orleans. There's a couple of them that I've been to, so kind of the same kind of thing. I associate jazz with New Orleans, the blues with Mississippi, and the Delta blues, and the whole bit. So it just music itself it talks to you. It just does.
Yeah. And you know what? You can get up late, if you're on vacation, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you really can. So, I'm just saying it's a good thing. Listen, you've got a really good band coming your way, and I interviewed them, last year. It's called Otis. Otis Band. Boone Froggatt is the lead singer. He was on the show, and he actually works with the Kentucky Headhunters, and they've been on the
Oh
show.
wow.
But I encourage you to go to that concert, everybody.
Hmm.
It is bluesy soul. It is just you're in a little southern rock in there, it's a little bit of
Wow.
everything when you like that kind of, you know what I mean? It's that vibe, southern
Mm-hmm.
but blues, very, yeah, you're gonna like it. It is perfect for the region. What a perfect. Oh, Kenny Neal's gonna be there, June 21st. Hell yeah, Kenny Neal's gonna be back. Oh my God, where are we gonna be? I want to go to see Kenny Neal. Yeah, that's
Telling
like,
you that they do really good. And I think a lot of it is like Clarksdale, and I don't know whether they're like, hey, play both clubs, or I don't really know how they do it, but I know some of the people that play here play up in Clarksdale or vice
yeah, it
versa.
makes sense.
But it's just a really cool spot.
Oh my
I can't
gosh.
even. They got
Oh,
some good people coming.
I think I want to set up a podcast station at Ground Zero. It sounds good,
Yeah,
right? Wouldn't it be cool?
yeah. And
It would,
and you'll
it's
get
part of
to
the way it
see,
used to be.
and one of the things I was talking to our server there when we were with Shemekia, and what's really neat about it is, so they do, obviously for specific shows you have to pay the ticket fee, and they have various price levels, and then you can also buy a general admission. Well, every now and then one of the casinos sponsors the general admission, so it's free general admission. So if you happen to be in, and you're you just want to go see what it's about, go to one of the free admission ones. Then there's a couple of days a week. I want to say he told me Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah, that would make sense to me that they don't charge a cover for anything, and they bring in like local talent or different things. And he told me now this, if I ever see this, he told me they have a burlesque show. Now, I know it may sound weird, but I would love to see a good
Mm-hmm.
burlesque show. I think it'd be great. And he told me that. I went, "You do burlesque in here?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Once in a while, we have a group that we bring in that does it." And I was like, "Okay, that's kind of cool." So they do other things that, mostly it's all about blues, but they're trying to give some local talent some face time and, just think outside the box and do other things. Cause I do believe, and I do honestly believe that if you get other people, say you're not a blues fan and, you're a Prince fan. So you want to go to this Prince tribute show. And once you get in there and you feel how comfortable and how friendly the place is, you're going to come back. And
Yeah.
I applaud them. I applaud them for doing that to go reach outside the blues genre fans, try and bring in others because once you go there, you will want to go back. That to me is a
Yeah.
given.
And Prince
And
played
they
the
have,
blues, by the way. Come on. He had the
yeah.
blues in him and jazz. He was like a hell of a jazz
Oh,
musician.
I tell you what, Prince is probably one of the most talented people. He could play, I don't know how many instruments. I'm sure you might, he played so many instruments, it's
Hmm.
disgusting. Like on his albums, he did everything.
He's a
So
genius. He's like Frank
yes.
Zappa. I think Frank Zappa is like a crazy genius. So he's a musical scientist. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They're amazing. I want to tell people though that you've got your article link in the episode notes, the link to the Journey Jukebox music list on Spotify. We're going to add all these in there, and there's going to be more added that, while Lisa's sleeping, the other Lisa, me, will be adding more. I'm also going to put a link to the Mississippi Blues Trail, which is msbluestrail.org. I just saw that they in March, I know November, excuse me, of last year, they put in Mr. Sip. Mr. Sip is super cool. Have you seen him perform?
Yes. No, I
Oh
haven't,
man,
but I've heard he's fabulous.
he is fantastic. We saw him at the same festival in Greeley, Colorado, man. And he just, when you see musicians that have to have a sweat rag, no matter
Yeah.
what the temperature is,
Yep. Meatloaf. Remember him?
that means it's good. Sweat rag is a good sign for music. I'm just saying.
Yep.
It is. You got to have the sweat rag. So, but anyway, go on that website. That will really help you with the mapping and everything. And you can even get it on your iPhone. They have a blues app. So you can get it on there, the Blues Trail on your iPhone too. So that's pretty cool. So they got the brochure, they've got a curriculum, they've got all kinds of, you can
Yep.
get it on your Android too. Uh-oh. This is dangerous. Lisa, this is dangerous, but how fun. How fun to, at least talk
Yes.
about in your backyard too. Are you going to venture out, away from the coast to do some more of the other markers?
Yes, I just need to find the time to do it. But yeah, I mean, I definitely want to go through Clarksdale again because the time I was up there, okay, you got to go see the BB King Museum. Well, it was under renovation. So I'm like, all right, well, we got to go back there. So yeah, I definitely want to go there. And there's other places. So I've been to Memphis and I've been to Memphis. I've been to Tupelo. I've been to
Mm-hmm.
Clarksdale are the bigger cities, but like there's plenty of other cities that have so much history. Um, there's just so much to do, and so yeah, every time I do venture within the state, because obviously most of it's north of me, I'm on the coast, so that would make sense. I do try and find a way to figure out because I keep track of how many markers I've actually been to on my app. So there's actually an app in Natchez. I went to Natchez. That's got one. And then there's one right across the river in Louisiana that I went to. So I've got several of them marked off, checked off, but not nearly as many as I need to.
Isn't there a museum that's really close to when you go over the river? Um, and
Yes.
I can't remember. There's a
Yes.
museum there that we didn't get to yet, but
It's the blues, and that I went
yeah.
there. Oh my, and fabulous. And that's in I think a future episode that I have planned out on when I went to Memphis, because I'll tell you what, Memphis is a cool ass city. Oh, I'm
It
sorry, I should probably
is.
shouldn't say that, but
It's your
it's just
podcast. I don't
you.
care.
Yeah, it's it's such a different. Like I went to Memphis and I went to Nashville, and both are great
Well,
places,
and that's a
but
heritage
such
trail. That's a music heritage trail.
yes,
Hmm.
but such different vibes.
Hmm.
Just different vibe. I mean, both great cities, but just definite different vibes. Memphis, you can is more. Memphis to me is more like the blues, Mississippi, where Nashville's more of the country kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I
that
know
has
there's crossover,
Memphis
but
has the soul side too. So
yes.
And now is really taken off on a huge hip hop circuit too, if you're into hip hop, right? But
Mhm.
Memphis has like remember the Box Tops. We had their
Yep.
manager on the show and we interviewed one of them as well a few years ago. Oh, actually quite a while ago. Um the song The Letter, give me a ticket for an airplane, ain't got time, take
Hmm.
a fast train.
Yep.
Yeah, they came on and it was like, whoa, man, that's so cool because they were known. They're like the soul.
Yeah.
And and it's just what an amalgamation there. I've got to think Memphis,
Well,
Elvis and everything, but I'm sorry,
yep.
but really blues music is blues music and it came from the black people. I'm sorry. That's the original thing. Okay. I'm not saying white people can't play the blues because I'm some of my best people on the planet that I love music. They're white, but so it's not a race thing, but I'm just saying, there's a misconception that, you know, I'm just saying. And that's what I love
No,
about.
and
Do you know what I mean? It's just, listen,
yes.
Elvis did not create all that music. He created some
No,
songs, yes. And
he didn't create it, but
he, he
he
brought it.
actually was open. He was open to the influence of that
Yes.
genre, and he brought it to the mainstream people.
Yeah.
And
He
yes,
was
it
huge about what he
evolved.
did. Yes.
Correct. He loved
Huge.
God. I mean, I don't know if you've ever listened to some of his gospel songs, but oh
Oh God.
wow,
Yes.
some of his
Listen,
gospel songs are fabulous.
I love gospel because people are just like, they're giving their soul. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
like we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
beam up there, we're giving it
Yeah.
all, or if something's going on, it's like the blues is the blues, and especially when if it's a male female thing or a woman, one,
Yeah.
whatever is going on, there's that. Then there's like, oh, I was drunk and I did a naughty thing, there's all kinds of things,
Yeah.
right? But when it gets to gospel and it has that blues in there, it's like if there, especially if there's something going on about a sick family member or something, man, it's like we are giving our body, our heart, our soul.
Yep.
You can take it all. You can take my shoes,
Exactly.
you can take it all, so it's just so powerful and moving. But Elvis did a lot, but I'm just reminding people that because some people don't quite know that history. And when they go on things like the Mississippi Blues Trail, you're going to start to hear who influenced Elvis. Elvis was an amazing marketer. I mean, he really was
Right.
for music, and he had an amazing voice, didn't he? And he was naughty and
Yes.
he shook things up. He did. But it's like Chuck Berry, when you talk about rock and roll, you got to go to Chuck
Hmm.
Berry. You got to go to him before Elvis, So I'm just saying I just want to put it where it's at because I hear things all the time and it's kind of a pet peeve of mine that, listen, we got to go to who was the originator, John the Revelator. It's John the Revelator, so go to the originator and go from there. And yeah, by all means, everyone play it. Doesn't matter what color you are, what gender, it
Right.
doesn't matter where you're playing it in the world. It's all good. But
Hmm.
there's always that homage to be paid for the people who started it, you know?
Right.
And some people just get titled on things that they shouldn't be titled on. I'm just saying. And it's about education. That's why we do these shows. It's exciting.
There we
And do
go.
we know everything? No, but when you start traveling, you start to know a whole bunch because you get to
Right. You
be
can learn
there
a
and
whole lot.
Yeah, like the 100 Men Hall. I want to go there for sure. But there's so much to experience. But in the meantime, everyone, don't forget to get Lisa's book, 100 Things to Do in Coastal Mississippi Before You Die. You want to get that if you're going to go to Mississippi this year and get on that blues trail, go to these clubs she's talking about, the 100 Men Hall, and a lot to see and do. All those links again are in the episode notes. Thanks, Lisa. I'm going to be playing blues for the rest of the day.
There you go. That's a good thing. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Talk
All
soon.
right. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us here on Big Blend Radio's Journey Jukebox with travel writer and author and travel advisor Lisa Evans. Keep up with Lisa at writerlisa.com and follow bigblendradio.com for new episodes every third Tuesday.